State Representative Tim Melton, the Democrat from Auburn Hills and Pontiac, is on the other end of our line. Are you already on the way to the polls this morning, sir?
No, I'm not. I will be shortly.
Okay, you'll be making your way there in the Auburn Hills and Pontiac area. And who, can you mind telling us who you're supporting?
Yeah, I'm supporting Andy Dillon.
Andy Dillon for governor, the House Speaker, the Democrat from Redford. Why?
Well, I've served with him for 4 years now. I can tell you what, I think the state of Michigan right now needs somebody that's got some business experience as well as some legislative experience. He's somebody that's been able to work across the aisle to get things done. If you look at our track record, Michael, I'm the chair of the Education Committee, and I've been on your show several times. We've been able to get some serious school reform done over the last 3 years. Between the pension reform, the race to the top legislation that we passed that actually takes on the worst performing schools in the state. And a lot of those things weren't the most popular things. But you know what? They needed to be done, and that's what we need in this state right now. We're struggling. And I look at, Andy's opponent, and, this guy, he's a self-reported career politician. He's run for 6 offices in the last 15 years. He's never even had a real job. And what really scares me, coming from the city where I come from, Pontiac, that, we have a strong labor history. But the fact of the matter is that it amazes me that our opponent hasn't purchased one TV ad this entire campaign. And he is completely bought and paid for by the special interest. And it kind of scares me what's going to happen after this election. If he wins, who is he going to be held accountable by? I mean, the people that helped him get elected. And actually, I don't remember in recent history where any candidate for governor hasn't had a TV ad. And if you ask somebody on the street, Virg Monero hasn't bought a TV ad, and I said, no, I see his ads all the time. They don't even know what's happening, and it kind of scares me.
Speaker Dillon seems to have received support from a lot of the editorial boards at newspapers across the state. I wonder why.
Well, I think when he goes in and, Grand Rapids is an example, Detroit Free Press, Detroit News, when the independent bodies look at somebody that can actually get things done, and like I said, has a business record. I mean, he worked 20 years in the private sector after graduating law school at Notre Dame, 10 of those working with troubled companies. And he's actually very pragmatic. He likes policy. And again, I think the newspapers like somebody that's willing to work across the aisle to actually have accomplishments and get things done.
One of the things that I'd heard about Speaker Dillon that really hasn't been published as far as I know is that he had an opportunity from the Obama administration to be named an ambassador. And he turned that down in order to stay in Michigan here and try to clean things up and then eventually run for governor. So that's an interesting little insight, if that's true, into the kind of sacrifice that he's made to sort things out here. So we appreciate your time this morning. Travel safely. Oh, by the way, before you go, Representative Melton, you're from Auburn Hills and Pontiac. What's it like to have a neighboring district to Chuck Moss?
Well, it's funny. I was a county commissioner before this. And I served with Chuck on the county commission. So, me and Chuck, we get along the best we can and try to get things done. And I will tell you, there are some things that Chuck and I have worked across the aisle to get things done, too. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Michael, when we look at this state, you probably have about 15% on the hard left, 15% on the hard right, and there's about 70% of the state right in the middle. And that makes it tough for people that are moderate in the middle. There is no big base to help get them out. We're all there. We're right in the middle because, Republicans aren't always right and Democrats aren't always right. Labor's not always right. The Michigan Chamber's not always right. But it's hard to find that constituency in the middle. And, Chuck and I don't agree on everything, but we've tried to do our best to find things we can agree on and work on them.
I think most voters and most people who live in Michigan appreciate that kind of talk, and we appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, State Representative Tim Melton on his way to the polls. We'd like